Squid Game Season 3 just dropped, meaning we get new memes, new TikToks, but most importantly, we're getting brand new Roblox games. And as always, there's going to be some good and some that are cheap cash grabs. So today, I'm going through the biggest Squid Game Roblox games and telling you which one's the best. So this list, we're going from the worst games all the way to the best. So first up, we have Season 3 Squid Game. And out of good conscience, I cannot recommend this game to you. You start off in the Squid Game arena, but there's one big catch. You either need every single player to get inside the starting area, or someone needs to spend actual money to start the game. Meaning, if your server even has one troll and one of the over 70 people doesn't want to stand in the circle, you cannot play the game, making this 0 out of 10. Next up, we have Jump Rope, Season 3 Squid Game. This game is super simple and just based off the Jump Rope game. On top of that, the fact that you can't move makes it more similar to the Mario Party game where you have to jump over a jump rope instead of the Squid Games game. And on top of that, the long wait time between rounds makes this game just not worth it at all. Really nothing interesting or worth your time. I'm gonna give it 3 out of 10. Next up, we have Jump Rope Obby. This game is simple enough just for people who want a parkour game with a Squid Games look, but not really worth checking out, especially if you want the full Squid Games experience. But it's a classic Roblox parkour game, and for that, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. Now we're getting into games that are actually kind of worth your time. This one is solid and a polished game if you solely want the hide and seek game experience. But the gameplay is a bit basic and not very creative. They try to make it more interesting with air vents, but overall, it just feels like a cheap cash grab at the Squid Games hype. Unlike this video. Overall, 6 out of 10. Next up, we have Squid Game 3 Final Game. First off, the startup time in this game is horrible, bro. It took so long for the first game to even start. And choosing your marble was a low-key challenge. All the game really is the hide and seek game, and that's it. But once the game starts, everything changes. It's hide and seek, but way more Robloxified. They kind of sacrificed the realism to the actual show just to make a game that was more fun, and I can respect it for that, and I think it was the right choice. I'd rather play something fun. They give the hiders a way to defend themselves, and they add a more interesting variety of rooms with boosts like speed potions and health regeneration rooms. Like, for example, I came across a room with a turret that took away a lot of my health, but I escaped, and then later on I was chasing some dude, and they ran straight into the turret and went AFK forever. So, not really accurate to the show, but the fact that they add these extra elements makes it way more fun long term. So for anyone that really wants to play hide and seek from the Squid Games, this is the game for you. Just don't expect it to be too realistic and it's not the full gameplay experience. So overall, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. But finally, we're at the games that are actually good. And first up, we have Squid Game X. This is where the list is great because Squid Game X is a true Squid Game experience. It starts you off in the lobby and has a ton of people, meaning you don't have to wait so long. It lets you choose between guard or player and even assign someone as a glass maker. It randomizes the games that you'll play, that way the games never feel too repetitive. And it gives you a ton of variety with red light, green light, pentathlon, honeycomb, jump rope, marbles, mingle, tug of war, -1, I never played it, I don't know what it is, and glass bridge. But when I say this is the full Squid Games experience, I mean it's the full Squid Game experience. It lets you take a pic that gets displayed on the floor. Then it leads you to the crazy hallway room where it leads you to different games. First up, red light, green light. It's pretty basic and it's cool because the guards are actual players that get to eliminate people. The game's cool because it gives you a good amount of emotes. But this game also adds the nighttime fights from the series, which I think are pretty fun. This game's version of pentathlon isn't amazing, but it's functional. Pro tip though, if you're bad, never choose the kick-up game. The rest though are super easy. And their jump rope version alone is better than the previous games that were just jump rope, because it actually lets you walk across the bridge and jump. It has the gap in the floor and everything. It's way more realistic to the show. And their marble game is actually pretty fun too. Overall, this is 10 out of 10. Next up, we have Octopus Game. This game is just as good as the last, so if you either want to put Octopus Game over Squid Game X or the other way around, it's up to you. It doesn't really make a difference. But this game starts you off in the room where everybody wakes you up, and once again, it's the full Squid Game experience. And it has little details that make it good. For example, it lets you play in first person mode, which makes some games way easier, and it's more immersive. Starting up a game is pretty quick, you don't have to wait a while. One annoying thing it does though is it limits your stamina, making it so you can't always run. I don't like it when Roblox games do this, but it's not too big a deal. Also, during Mingle Mingle, it lets you push people, which adds a lot more strategy to the game. And this game's version of hide and seek, I think, is the best of them all, including the mini games from earlier where it was just that one mode. It just feels so polished and the graphics are nice. Whoever made this game knew what they were doing. Plus, it lets you play in first person mode, making it way more intense, kind of like a horror game. This is a really solid Squid Game experience, equal to Squid Game X, so whichever one you want to put better, it's a tie. But what if I told you there's one version of Squid Games that beats everything else by a mile, and that's Ink Games. Ink Games is the definitive Roblox Squid Game game. It has such a level of polish no other game has. There's way more interactions in the game, like for example, you get food and you can use the bottle to hit other people. You get food and you can eat your onigiri. I don't know what it does, but I mean you eat it. Like just for example, the last two games, their red light, green light was so boring. You just walk forward and that's it. But this version is way better. It lets you grab sand and throw it at people, knocking them over. And if you get hit, it's not the end of the game because you can walk forward, but you'll just be injured. And if you want to, you can either save people who are also injured, pick them up, and carry them to the finish line. But this game's level of polish is just so high. The cutscenes are amazing. Like, it feels like an actual video game with super polished animations. And it lets you rebel at the very end, changing the game entirely into a first-person shooter. All of the minigames are polished and make sense. This is the definitive Squid Games Roblox game. If you have to choose any of them, bro, only choose Ink Games. It's fun, it's perfect, and it doesn't get 10 out of 10. This game gets 11 out of 10. Make sure to subscribe.